Welcome to the RV Rental Secrets podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Maxson, and I'm thrilled to guide you through the journey of launching, growing, and managing a profitable RV rental business. Welcome to the RV Rental Secret podcast. Today, I have my co-host with me again, Gar Russell. He's the founder and CEO of Fireside RV Rental. And today we wanted to talk about hiring and managing staff and kind of outsourcing some of the responsibilities so you can really focus on what moves the needle in your business.
Yeah. And right off the bat, as I think about this, Stacy, people might be listening and thinking, well, I don't really have an RV rental business. I'm just renting out my RV. That's a business. If you are offering a service to somebody, you have a business, whether it's just your RV or 10 RVs or 100 RVs, you are in business. And really more important than that is what we're going to talk about today is there's only so much time in a day. How do you want to spend that time? And I think one of the important things that I do is I put a dollar amount on my time. So I have a dollar amount. I feel kind of weird to say. I'm going to say it. You know what? This is just for full transparency. And please don't think that I'm a prideful person when I say this, but I put a time value of $250 an hour on my time. So when I'm looking at something that I want to do, I say, okay, is this worth my time? And then obviously not everything we do in life is a money-making activity per se, but in regards to doing something that I wouldn't necessarily want to be doing, like washing the RV or doing a walkthrough or cleaning stuff like that, doing my books or laundry or whatever, it's good to put a value on your time, even mowing your yard or washing your car, because then you can determine, is this something I want to do or is this something I want to have somebody do for me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that can look different for everyone too, because you also want to think about what your strengths are, what your passions are. Someone might take great pride in cleaning, and that's their call to fame with their businesses. They always have the cleanest RVs, and that might be how they advertise, and that's something that brings them joy. Then great, they can focus on that and maybe hire out the office activities or something that they don't really like to do. Of course, for me, I always outsource the cleaning, and that was not something that brought me joy. But yeah, like with cleaning especially, I think it's easy to outsource. You can find, high school or college students, stay-at-home moms. There's a website, care.com, where you can find cleaners, and just, people that clean houses. They're easy to find. There's a lot of people out there doing Airbnbs, and you can hire them and just explain the concept of, it's basically just a small house. Some people aren't familiar with RVs, and that's something that's really easy to outsource.
Yeah, I like the Airbnb connection, because that's what I would do. Go on a local Facebook group, and then I would post in there, hey, I'm looking for somebody who cleans short-term rentals. And basically that's it. And then they message me. Then I explain, I have an RV rental business. I need RVs cleaned. And then one of the important pieces to that is you just clean them per turnover. So it's, $60 a turnover. And that's a money-making activity for you now, because most of our prep, we call it a prep fee. We charge between $125 and $200 depending on the unit. And so typically that can be a money-making activity for you. And yeah, if you frame it that way on Facebook, it's a lot less confusing. It's easy, in my opinion, to build up a cleaning staff for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you're just using that time that you would have been cleaning the camper to spend time with your family, that's beneficial. Don't think you always have to be working. You can take time off and do the things that you like to do.
Yeah. What do they call that? There's ROI, return on investment. There's ROT, return on time. So yeah, and two, we get so busy, right? Like I've got 4 kids, we homeschool, we have a busy lifestyle together. And that's one of the things that's important for us is one-on-one dates with our kids. My wife and I were just talking about that on our walk this morning as we start thinking about the next school year. Yes, we're already thinking about the next school year and it's July 2nd, but that's how your brain works when you homeschool. And so if I compare that to this cleaning, okay, it took me 45 minutes to clean this camper. Now I have that 45 minutes. Let me instantly take that time and allot it towards a one-on-one with my kid, instead of letting other things, I'm not cleaning the RV and now I can go outside and wash it. No, that's not the point of this all. The point is to get your time back. Time is the only asset that we can't create more of, the only asset that we're losing every day. So it's so important to be cognizant of our time and what we're doing with our time.
Yeah, that's so true. Because there's always something that can pop up so that you always remain busy. So you really have to think of what you're spending your time on and be intentional about that.
Yeah. And two, let's say you don't necessarily like cleaning, but one of your kids, you kind of see that they have that bent. They like to clean and organize, and maybe they're only 7, 8, 9 years old. Well, there you go. You can actually kill two birds with one stone. I don't know if I like that saying. You can accomplish two things at once. I like birds. Go clean the RV side to side with that kid, and they can make a couple bucks. You're spending quality time with them, and you're teaching them some stuff like attention to detail, and you get to, hey, that's, you get to tell them about the family that's going to be renting the RV. And yeah, I was talking to the family and they're going to go here. And would you like to go there someday? And, and ask some questions and just really create a quality moment. Like you
Mhm.
can turn what would feel like a frustrating moment of, gosh, I'm cleaning this camper. It's hot outside. I don't want to be doing this. And you just created a precious moment with your child. So it's so cool how if you reframe and rethink that you could just do that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I know another thing that our franchisees often talk about is finding drivers. Sometimes they can have difficulty because, you have to find someone that has the right tow equipment. So what tips do you have to find drivers for your fleet? Because that can free up a lot of time for you as well.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to my Facebook market, the Facebook groups. I had a post that I used to use that would get everybody's attention, get some laughs and engagement. And I would say this, I would say, and this here is this is one of the things we usually only share with the fire starter family. So you guys are getting some insider tips here today, is looking for old farts with trucks who are bored. And, you even throw a little picture up like of an old guy, sitting on a chair, and it will get a bunch of engagement because there are so many old guys sitting out there with trucks who are bored, who used to camp for years, and now maybe they don't have a camper anymore, or they still camp, and they're set up with the fifth wheel hitch, and you get a bunch of engagement that way. Or if you think about kind of what I was doing, like I was calling out a specific audience, same as I did with the Airbnbs, you've got to be able to pull a file from somebody's mind when you're doing this kind of marketing digging. So you could say, hey, does your neighbor have a truck and RV? If so, I want to talk to them. Or, hey, does your uncle camp and have an RV? Or things like that, right? Or, hey, anybody at the VFW that you know of? You ever see trucks at the VFW parking lot that have fifth wheel hitches in them? Things like that jog somebody's memory. And you probably see this all the time where, especially my mother-in-law loves to do this, like you'll get tagged in someone else's post because
Mhm.
something they read makes them think of you, and so they tag you. Like my mother-in-law's ones are weird. Crock pot for sale, like, Gar, don't you have a crock pot? And, yes, mom, I do. Thanks for taking me. But it pulled a file in her memory where she's like, wait, Gar has a crock pot. I see it on his counter the other day. So just calling out a specific audience, kind of like we do for our Fireside franchise marketing, as we're like, attention Christian entrepreneur, attention Christian RV owners, like we're calling out the audience that we're called to serve, that we want to share a message with. And so that's what you can do for drivers, cleaners, any of those RV repair techs.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, along with the drivers too, like we've found good luck just having conversations with people when you're at campgrounds. Obviously, if they're at a campground, they probably own a camper and they have a truck to tow it with. So just having those conversations of people that are looking for just, part-time money. They usually work contract by contract and are looking to make a little bit of extra cash. Even with like a fleet of 20, which we had, we didn't have consistent enough work where people would work full time, 5 days a week. So just basically bidding out each delivery is how we did it. And we had probably like 5 drivers in our, Rolodex or whatever that we would reach out to for each one. We used to pay per mile. If you offer a truck, if you have an extra truck that they can drive, then you can pay per hour. I've seen it done both ways, but yeah, it's definitely helpful to have a driver, especially when you have a large fleet, because you're gonna have multiple deliveries and pickups in the same day at the same time. So you definitely need additional people to help you out.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's important to be proactive too, instead of reactive in a lot of those situations. So you've got 2 drivers, make sure you got 3 more on standby, just always be thinking about the different sides, you're right. So you're not in there cleaning the RV anymore, worrying about that. Got someone doing that. So now that would be something where you're planning ahead. So you're getting drivers. And on that note too, when we talk about money, I hear people say, well, yeah, I lose $50 on delivery. That's just the cost of doing business. That's not what cost of doing business means. Cost of doing business means I'm putting out this much money for marketing. I've got a printer and paper. I've got these things. Cost of business doesn't mean, hey, I'm losing money to have an RV delivered. No, that means you're undercharging. That's
Yeah,
what that means. It doesn't mean that's a good. So you got to figure out your numbers and know your math to where you're charging appropriately, to where you should be making money on all the activities. You shouldn't be losing money, or in my opinion, you shouldn't even be breaking even on any of the activities. They should all be money-making activities for you.
yeah, that's definitely true. You need to know your numbers and charge accordingly. And that includes taking into account, what the platforms are going to be taking out. I know RV share, if you're renting out your own individual camper, I believe they're charging something around 25% of that. So you need to add that 25% onto your delivery so that once that platform fee comes out, you're getting the actual money that you need.
Yeah, you definitely got to factor that into your numbers for sure. Actually, that brings up something. I was talking to someone last night. Let me know if you want to talk about this episode. Somebody last night was like, "Oh my gosh, RV share and outdoorsy, they're getting so much money from me. I hate it. These guys shouldn't even exist." Blah 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 blah. Should we go down that road for a minute, or no? Is that another episode?
No, we can talk about it. I think, it kind of ties into it. Let's see
Okay,
what.
all right. So this gentleman I'm talking to last night, this is what he's ranting on. And I pay RV share 25%. That's just robbery and blah, blah, blah. This was my response to him. I said, if RV share brought you a booking, they've earned a commission. And the beauty of that too is they get a commission because you just made money. They don't get money just because they brought you a lead, which that's how a lot of business works. You're paying just to generate leads, and then it's your job to convert them. No, I said, so be thankful for that booking that you got from RV Share. I said, but then what you need to do that most people aren't is, now that you have that person's information and they're booking from you, get them into your database, get them to follow you on your social media, Facebook, send them an email newsletter once a month, once a quarter, get them into your environment more. So next time they book, they immediately think of you. They don't go to Google and type in RV rental. They're seeing you in their Facebook feed. And one of the ways to do that is when they're on their rental is have them tag you on a picture. Say, hey man, I'd love to see where you guys are camping. I've heard about that campground, or I love that campground, or whatever it is. Take a picture of your kids, doing this or that, or show me how the RV looks set up there, when the sun's coming up, and then post it on my Facebook and tag me in it. So now you guys are interacting on Facebook, and now Facebook has brought you guys into this algorithm together, where now when you're posting, you're going to start showing up in their feed. And now guess what? They didn't even think of going camping for Halloween, but you're talking about Halloween camping and how this other campground has all these cool events. And now they decide, oh man, I think let's go camping this Halloween. Let's rent from them. So pay the fee, get the customer, but now don't look at that customer as a one-time transaction. Because if that's all you're looking at those people as is a one-time transaction, till RV Share brings you the next one-time transaction, yeah, you're going to get burnout and bitter at RV Share. Think of that as, wow, RV Share just gave me a customer that I can have for life, but it's your responsibility to make them the customer for life. And I just paid them a one-time fee of whatever, $200.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that kind of goes with the outsourcing, like using these platforms, and that's just kind of a marketing fee that you're paying them to get that customer. Like they spend millions of dollars on marketing. As a small business owner, that's not something you're going to be able to do. So you're going to leverage, that platform to get you that customer. And then, like you said, a lot of times there's a lifetime value of a customer. So you got to think of how many times can you get repeat business from that customer. And then that $250 that you paid out for that one rental, if I've had customers that I've had for the last 5 years. So then you're spreading that $250 fee over the next 5 years. And then it's, not that much to get that customer.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one simple, really simple, practical way to do that, because there's so many ways to do that, is just by starting a Facebook page. Starting a Facebook page. I mean, if you want to get real tactical, then you can get like a CRM, a contact management software where you can set tasks and reminders and place notes and files and all that kind of stuff. But a very simple way to get started is a simple Facebook page. But you've got to get them to interact with that page. You got to get them to like the page, follow the page. And as we're talking through this, I'm thinking, yeah, social media. Really think about that. Social media. So RV Share, they're paying for media space on Google and these other platforms. Social media for you can literally be a free media platform, but you've got to get the customer to engage and, do fun things. Have a free s'mores kit or 10% off your next rental, or let's send a single mom camping with her boys and create a contest and get a campground pulled into it that's going to give the campsite for the weekend, and get the local grocery store that's going to donate the food, and even the VFW that's going to tow it over there and set up, pull in other people, organizations, this and that. Now you've got like grassroots, boots on the ground marketing and stuff happening, which that's really what a lot of our franchisees have done. I mean, I think of Dathan in Alabama, he's got partnerships with Bonnaroo, Talladega, music festivals. He's literally sending leads he sent a couple month lead to Tanya in Texas, and he's in Alabama. He sent 5 rentals to Josh up in Michigan. He's networking and doing the thing, and he does a lot of sponsorships. That's part of how he done. Gives an RV for the weekend for the guy that was flying the jet over Talladega. Now they have the contract with Talladega, and different things like that. So it's putting on that marketing cap and just thinking, okay, instead of being upset with RV Share that they brought you business, think of, okay, how can I generate business and take the business they're sending me and run with that?
Yeah. And I mean, if marketing isn't your strong suit or social media, you can find people on Fiverr, again, like teenagers, college students, they may be looking for an internship where you don't even have to pay them to do that, but maybe they're going to college for marketing and would be willing to intern for the summer for you to work on the marketing for your business.
Yeah, true.
So any other things you can think that would be good items to outsource? We touched on cleaners, drivers, social media. What are some other tasks that people look to outsource when they're building a business?
I think you nailed it right off the bat. The things that don't bring you joy, the things that you're like, oh my gosh, I got to clean another camper, because that's just going to suck the life out of the business for you, and it's going to steal your joy. So think of the things that you don't like to do and outsource those things, because really anything can be outsourced. Anything. Like we talked about in another episode, like we used to handle your inquiries for you at the corporate office. You wanted to do those yourself. And so you took those over because you found joy in those. You felt like you could better respond, being boots on the ground, this and that. So that's something you do and you enjoy it. So really it's whatever you don't want to do, you don't have to do. That's the beauty of being a business owner. And maybe I said it in this podcast or another one, but if you're renting out 1 RV or 100 RVs, you are a business owner. You have a business. It's a business.
Yeah.
So yeah, any of those things.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to end on. Like we both said, if it's not bringing you joy, learn to outsource it and, focus on the things in your business that make you happy. That's why we're all entrepreneurs. So we have, the time freedom, the financial freedom, and we can just focus on the things that we love to do.
Amen.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. And we hope you got a lot of value out of this. Like and subscribe if you did, and we'd be happy if you left us a review. And we'll see you again next week.
See ya.